Hello everyone, this is Bhupen Sharma, and in this tutorial we are going to continue from the last lecture where we finished the creation of the services and linking with the database and JPA repository, and we create all those methods that can provide us the data. Now in this tutorial we are going to create the controllers specifically for the view. So let's get started. This is the project that we left in the last lecture. It has everything: controller, entity, repository, and services. The controller that we created was for the REST endpoints, but this time we are going to create a controller for the view, and it has all static references. So we need to change those static references to a dynamic references mapping with the controller, and that is something part of our next lecture. So first let's start a server and see where we are. Server started. Let's open in browser localhost 8080. So I can see this static page is there. So this is all information is static right now. We are going to target this particular section of the company revenue and try to create a controller and get the data from the service. So it will be controller goes to service, service goes to JPA, JPA goes to database, and then comes back with the data back to the controller. Now how we are going to represent into the controller something, we need a total of revenue, expense, and margin for all the records that we have, and we need a specific records for every month revenue. So let's build the controller for this. So I autowired the dashboard services and I created a get mapping to the root and return the index. So it basically just when you load the localhost 8080, it comes and redirect the same page to the index.html. Now let's start populating. So let's say populate company revenue data. Now in dashboard services we have method to get all the records from the company revenue table. The problem is that this is not how we represent in the page. The page reflects something else. We are not simply showing the data from the database. So we need to do a manipulations and write a custom logic where I can grab those informations and pass it to my controller. So I need to make a changes to my services. So let's do and change the services. Okay, so I created this I changed the function get today's revenue dash method. What I did is I just pass as a hash map so that I can pass different parameters like labels, revenue, and then total. So if you see in the page, you have labels for this, and you have revenue here, and you have the total revenue, total expense, and total margin here. So I just created a hash map, provide all those values. So let's use the so my service is ready with all the information that I need for the page, but now I need to do is I need to map my service data with the view, so using a controller. So I'll use model dot add attribute, and I'll say CR company revenue, comma, and then I'll use dashboard service dot total dash and save, run, and see whether will have any impact. There'll be no impact because now we have every information is inside this model attribute, but we are not using that model attribute somewhere in that page, so there'll be no changes there. So it still will be a static. Yeah, because if it's dynamic, then these months will be a different format. If you see here in DB, the way I save those records is Jan, Feb, and static it is January, February, like that. So the next step is we need to bind our model attribute in the UI. So let's do that. There are two pieces here. One is on the HTML side, and one is on the JavaScript side, because the chart information is inside the JavaScript. So this is the chart that we are using for revenue, where we are passing labels here and then the revenue here, and the other thing that we are using is the total expense and total revenue and total margin. So these are hard coded, so we are going to change these things. Let's do it. So on the index.html page, there are two changes that I did. Is one is referencing to the namespace for ThymeLeaf, and then here I actually created two hidden variables, input tags, two hidden input tags where I'm passing the labels and a revenue. I'm gonna use these for my JavaScript, but for revenue and expense and margin, I just simply reference to CR and total revenue. This total revenue actually is mapped to a service here because everything is a hash map. So when it returns back from controller to the view, everything comes as a hash map and tied up to a CR, which we define in our controller CRS. So when I reference it, I say CR.total revenue, and then so let's run it and see whether it works or not. Yeah, and this has been changed now, but this information is still the old one. So let's do the change for the chart as well. So for JavaScript side, what I did is I just get the value from the hidden tag that I created here, and then I split with the comma because they are coming as a comma, and then I just simply put into the label. Instead of having hard-code values, I just reference to that variable. And let's run it now and see whether it works. So now this has been changed, and even I can see here the value is still, they are static, they're not dynamic, but if I go and inspect element, I should have those values inside my the hidden tag. So yes, and the CR revenue, this hidden tag has those value coming in from the controller. So as an assignment, you can just copy this project from the GitHub, just fork this project and just try to do by yourself for the revenue part. Let's go and I'm gonna leave a bestseller category and order received as hard-coded. As an assignment, I put inside this lecture that you can go grab the source code and then do it. I'm gonna work on employee information now. So let's do it. So for employee information, what I did is I just simply create a model attribute called EI and then reference string to the service which return me all the employee. So now let's go and see where we have employee information in the HTML. It should be here somewhere. So right now these are our hard-coded informations. We are going to convert that into by reading the value from the model attribute that we have set it up. So let's do it. In HTML, what I have done is I just removed all the TRs, the table rows, the static ones, and then I just use the each loop of theme leaf where I reference to amp to my EI. EI is something which is part of my model attribute. And then I use the pose object type names by having from here, and I just map it up. And that's all I did actually to change all my static code to a dynamic data code. And let's go and run it. So right now I can see it has 57 entries, and in my DB I believe I have 9 entries. So server started. Let's go and refresh the page. So I can see 9 entries now, and everything is mapped up, including my name as well. In this page, we have changed the dynamic reference from the static based on the controller for the company revenue chart and from the data table. As a part of this lecture, I'll put up assignment to work on doing the same stuff for the main dash here, the bestseller category, and the order received. That's all for this video. Thanks guys.